Hey, Scotty.
Hey!
Andre's here to
Well,
discuss paint correction and other issues.
okay. So this is all compound. This is all unfinished. This was all sanded and not buffed. So this is gonna have to be slightly scuffed up to be buffed. I'll probably have to take out the lights to get at it, especially here. Otherwise,
We're gonna screw up the lights.
well, it's not gonna screw up the lights. It's just you can't get the machine in here. What the hell? This is all scratched to living hell. That's got to be buffed out. That's all clear coat scratching.
Now that's around both tail lights. You want to show the other tail light?
Yeah, I saw that. It's why in the world whoever painted it didn't finish this before putting the tail lights in. This wasn't done. There's not a lot of scratching up here. It looks like they didn't finish doing the cut and buff. No idea what that is. This wasn't finished. This needs to be buffed. This needs to be buffed. This needs to be buffed. It's a big old fill. A gouge that they filled. This needs to be buffed.
Now, you asked me a minute ago to ask Gary if he has any touch-up paint.
Yeah, because I noticed, well, I'll show you on the other door. I haven't even gotten over this way yet, but it looks like, I can't tell, it might just be compound. That wasn't even touched. That was sanded, but it's not been buffed.
Wow.
That's I mean, this whole door, look at this.
Oh, yeah.
This whole section, this needs to be...
Needs Andre magic.
Well, it looks like the cut and buff wasn't finished. You know, and this paint should be a lot shinier. You know, because what I saw, like this, I don't understand if this is a base coat, clear coat job, and like, why in the hell would you do... Never mind. Don't criticize other people's work.
Oh, no. We always criticize other people's work because other people's work is shitty.
Base coat, clear coat should not have been affected by gasoline.
Oof.
So I don't know what this is. And you can see here that this was painted lightly.
You can see
the difference in color.
Miscolored Easter egg.
Yeah, they didn't. But this whole thing needs to be buffed out all the way over here. It looks like they just didn't finish the buff. And obviously they didn't even touch this where the trim goes.
And Scotty's going to be doing the trim.
Yeah, but you can't leave.
Leave it shitty.
You can't leave it like that. And then you've got, is this compound? Nope, that's primer. So that was buffed. That's one of the reasons why I asked if he has any. That's a nick. That's rust coming through these bubbles.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's why I'm a big, huge fan of rust treatment before. Yeah, this thing needs, these are all horizontal sand scratching from doing the clear. And then this is rusting.
Oh, my God.
You know, and this whole entire edge of this door. And then this.
Oh, my God.
This was probably a giant drip right here, and they tried to sand it out, or this is all in the clear coat. This is all a clear coat reaction, because it's all bubbled.
Yeah, you can see the bubbles.
Yeah, I mean, I might be able to do something with that to at least hide a little. This was never done. You can still see that it's all hazy. This is still all hazy. It's hard to see at this angle. Yeah, you can still see this is all hazy. So this basically needs an entire buff. And stuff like this here, like this was not touched. It's still very smooth. But this is a giant run. I mean, that's a huge drip.
Oh,
that
wow.
went all the way down. And they tried to
sand it out.
They tried to sand it out. They can sand this out more if they had the right thing. But then you got to buff all this. And then you can't even get really a buffer in there. So I'm glad they didn't do too much sanding in there. But you're still going to have to sand this. So they did... The valance was off when they did that. It's like, guys, if you got the car apart,
do it right.
Yeah, I mean, and the valance, you can tell they did it differently because the valance is gorgeous.
Nice.
Yeah, the valance.
Look at the flake in
yeah,
that.
and the thing is this is this has not been cut and buffed because of the, but it's a small enough piece that when you're hosing on the paint, it flows out and looks really nice. A lot of times you don't cut and buff these because you don't have to. And you can see that all this compound stuff's got to be taken off, and that's once it dries, this stuff is like glue. Yeah, same thing. That looks like a chip.
It looks like
it's a chip with compound in it, so that's got to get taken out. And then they scuffed this. This is a chip.
That's where the emblem goes.
Yeah, there goes
There's one more.
Yeah,
somewhere here,
and
Scotty's installing those.
Yeah,
but we got to have you do your thing first.
Yeah, I mean this whole thing. I mean, at least I can get really close to get this out. I mean, it just looks like it wasn't. The process wasn't finished. You know, and this isn't attached, so that's good because then I can get all this. But then this door basically just has a ton of.
So you're basically just finding other people's half-assed work,
or not finished.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been buffing cars. I mean, this whole thing has not been. I mean, this thing should be sparkly. I mean, this is a gorgeous blue. But I mean, if you look at it this way, you can see it's hazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that just needs to be finished. So the whole entire car needs a buff, and then if you've got, I mean, this whole lip wasn't even done.
Yeah, all the lips are that way.
Yeah,
they're really
is
bad.
there a trim piece?
I haven't seen any trim pieces for it. I'll have to ask. Gary will have to get back to me when he sees this video. He didn't bring anything over.
Yeah, and if he has any touch-up paint, we could certainly at least cover these things up.
Fix some things.
I mean, because that other side is glaring. I mean, and the body work is pretty straight. I mean,
it's not bad.
It's not bad. The thing is that I don't know if they did a skim coat on this to try to make everything perfectly flat. I don't know if they blocked it. The problem is that if they went so far to remove all of the orange peel, it's going to look wavy no matter what, unless the car was skim coated and blocked.
Yeah.
I don't know, but look at the scratches on this hood. It's like they put stuff on it and just dragged it off.
Oh yeah, you can see all that.
Yeah, I mean I think this thing will shine up really, really nice. But it needs a full buff. I mean, it needs a full.
It's got to be gone through.
Yeah.
We don't even know on the hood, like.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Just do it light. I mean, it doesn't. It's hard to see, but it's just. It still should be shining.
There's a fingerprint right there in the paint. Look at that. You can see it. There's a fingerprint in the paint.
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
That looks like it's in the clear though, so that looks like I can get that out. Yeah, it basically looks like they didn't finish the cut and buff. And why are these two different shades?
Are they?
Maybe it's just the angle.
And there's a little here. It looks pretty.
Yeah, look, it was the angle. There's a little bit of rust right there coming through. I mean, it'll shine up. It'll look good. I mean, it's gonna take some really buffing. I mean, this is gonna be like at least a 6-hour job, because anything like this, We have no idea how long this has been like this. I gotta actually go back over it with like 2000 and reopen it and try to get it to respond.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be able to get it to do something without.
Run.
Yeah, I mean they can shave that. You can shave this down. That's a big run. I mean, if we shaved it down, just this area, at least clean it up so it's not so noticeable. Because I don't know how much clear is on this until I start hitting it. But you know, if you go too far, you go through it. But this looks like this whole front end just got hosed on. That's why. So I mean, that can be severely reduced so you don't see it. But like this is all just not finished.
Yeah.
You know, it's totally just not. It needs to finish a buff. And it'll be nice and shiny. But it's stuff like, this is a giant chip that's been filled in with compound. And that's glaring, that looks like crap. You know, I'd put shit on this stuff to stop it from rusting anymore, like pour 15 it, and then try to get some touch-up paint. That way it doesn't, you know, continue. Because obviously, wherever that, and it's doing it down here. This is a giant chip, that's a giant chip. You know, wherever the rust bubbles were that we saw, you know.
Oh, wow.
I mean, those are coming out because you paint over rust. You know, so the only way to get rid of rust is coat it both sides, or what the hell is that? Oh, that's schmutz.
Just a little schmutz?
A little schmutz, probably from someone having glue or something on their finger. But you can see here, this is a rag drag mark in the paint.
Wow.
Either that or it's someone's clothes.
So just poor quality.
Well,
Oh yeah, look, you can see that drag mark all the way across.
yeah. This
Look at
is
that.
most likely with loose clothes.
Painter.
You'll see, well, yeah, but you'll see people doing it with the hose marks. And it's like, you know, you gotta stop. If it's in the base, you gotta stop. You gotta wait till it dries and flashes off. You gotta sand it out. You gotta reshoot it. If it's in the clear, same thing. You gotta wait. But a lot of people don't want to wait.
Nope, they're impatient.
You know, and this is totally just.
That's just scary with that fuel markings.
Yeah, that should. It's a hardened product. It should not do that. If this was single stage, then I understand it because it will eat it. Brake fluid will eat it.
Yeah.
But a hardened product should not do this unless this is a reaction from before, like this wasn't prepped properly before, and it's just bleeding all the way through. I mean, I might be able. I'd have to get my stuff and
Get at it.
and yeah. I mean, but this is definitely just it wasn't because the dark colors like this don't cover. They don't cover for shit. So this is there's not enough blue on it. That's what that is. You know, and if it was on the ground and you're down like this, it's
You're
hard
not
to
looking.
see. But you need to put it on jack stands and paint it so you can see what you're doing. At least that's what I used to do in my shop.
So it's not, so it doesn't become a miscolored Easter egg.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, blotchy like that because it's basically the primer or whatever was underneath here is showing through because the paint hasn't made. I mean, this thing probably needed at least 3 or 4 coats of color to cover everything because blue, green, you know, reds, black, they don't cover because there's so little pigment in it. What the hell is that? How do you scratch that?
Probably, I'd say fucking with the bumper. Look, there's a
Yeah,
edge right there. There it is.
probably fit in the bumper. This is why
Not
you.
paying attention.
This is why you take things off, kid.
People not paying attention. That's exactly what it is. People not paying attention. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, this would never have left my shop.
No, it's just not the quality of what you would be going for.
Hell no.
Well,
I wouldn't be doing this much work and then having that when people go look at the crap.
yeah. Well, thank you for giving it a once over, Andre. We'll get this over to Gary, and we will go from there.
All right.
Thank you, sir.